Yo guys, sorry guys that this has come a little bit late. Basically, I'm ill, so I'm not feeling very well. I'm feeling a bit under the goose. So yeah. But look, sickness cannot hold anybody back. It cannot hold your boy Double H back. The golden begin. So I wanted just to go into this whole Roma Chelsea review, and really, I want us to really speak on a much more larger level. So rather than this just being a clear post-match analysis, I think there is a bigger issue here, and it's to do with Abramovich, and it's also to do with Chelsea. So first things first, they got lubricated. That's just the key thing that we need to sort out first, is that they got lubricated. I believe, yeah, El Shaarawy scoring 2 Gs, outplayed, outthought, outmanned. Defense got exposed. David Luiz, and I have to apologize for what I've been saying about Roma, because once Spalletti left, I was like, Di Francesco, who's this guy coming in here, blah, blah, these guys are going to go on the downhill. But in both of the games they played against Chelsea, they've been very good. They've been very good. They have been the better team in both games against Chelsea. So for Roma, 100%, they are through. They're through. I mean, it's like you expect them to sort out carry back. Again, apologies to carry back. Apologies. Okay, apologies. And for me, I think that they could maybe even get a draw at Wanda against Atletico. But let's look at Chelsea now. Because people said to me that, half of everybody supports a team. Why don't you support a team? What's your thing, And for me, I've already talked about, the racism within Chelsea, the whole John Terry thing, and how, for me, my principles have to go above and beyond tribalism principles. That's what makes you as a man. But the other key reason was Abramovich. I love Abramovich. And the reason why I love Abramovich is because he's rich. So it's as simple as that. But as much as I love him, Abramovich coming into football was the beginning of possibly the end. When I say possibly, I don't think football can ever really die, but I do think that it is heading towards a point where it's like, what the hell? And what I mean by this is like, it's the Abramovich era and how Abramovich rolls. Chelsea is his toy. And it's a toy in which you want this toy to be performing very well and to your standards. If it isn't, you're going to take instant action and vamos, remove it all. The way that Chelsea have been operating, what does the future hold? What is the long-term future for Chelsea? Because any club that wants to have sustained success, you have to have a manager that is around for several seasons. But even beyond that, even if that's manager, because not every manager can be an Alex Ferguson, or where the manager that Ancelotti spent at AC Milan, then you have something like a Dortmund where you are passing the baton on to another manager who's going to carry on the work that you've already started, which is something that people assume has to happen with Wenger. That whoever comes in for Wenger, they're going to try and carry on what Wenger did, but bring it into the 21st century, because Wenger is still in the 18th century of football philosophy. So, again, because people can talk about, like, okay, you look at Chelsea's performance, you look at everything that's happening. Yes, they're missing Conte. They can't blame Conte fully for that. You look at Morata. Are you going to say that because Morata did not score that chance, Chelsea lost that game? This isn't. Well, we're talking about 90 minutes. These are just a few moments of the game, and you've got to look at the whole pie rather than looking at specific slices and specific pieces. Conte is not enjoying it at Chelsea. You would have to be a flipping moron, or pretty much not have a brain to realize that, look, man, there are things happening there that aren't really working out. And I've said this many times. This went back to the summer. It went all the way back to the summer, in the very fact that Conte obviously had targets, and Abramovich said, "Sorry, we cannot give you those targets. We cannot give you the money to have those targets." Pep had targets. He got those targets. Mourinho had targets. He got those targets because those are clubs who are going to back, because they're bringing the manager and they're going to back the manager and give the manager what they want. I look at this Chelsea team and I look specifically at the defense. This is what I was even saying last season, that a 3-man defense is very, very hard to play. Like if you take a defender from the road, you play him in a 4-man defense. You don't take a defender from the road and play him in a 3-man defense. I do not understand how Cahill and Lewis coped last season. Azpilicueta is a very good defender. He's easily the best defender out of all of those three. But I think the reason why they were able to cope was the kind of job that Conte was doing and what Matic did, because they did so much covering. Because they have such amazing stamina, amazing reading of the game, and they're so good box to box that they were able to really cover for the kind of mistakes that those guys made. So what you're seeing right now, again, similar to what you're seeing with Liverpool, is that when people have a season to see a team and see how they set up, for the second season, they're like, okay, we now know how you're going to play. Because that is how the human mind works, is that, all right, okay, this is what happens here. Let me now try and do something different because I'm learning from past experience. So it's how things work. And what you're now seeing is that people are really, really exploiting that Chelsea defense. They're really exploiting Cahill's stupidity, and they're really exploiting Luiz's lack of positional sense defensively. So you look moving forward. So you sack Antonio Conte. Who do you bring in? Now, if you bring in Ancelotti, is Ancelotti going to give you sustained success? Is it because you look at Chelsea's youth system, look at the amount of players that they literally sold and let go. Look at their loan system, how many players they had on loan, how many players that they've now sold. These are young players who could really turn into something. Is Loftus-Cheek going to come back to Chelsea and have a career and a future at Chelsea? So, the very fact that you're having a manager and you're not going to give a manager a 5-year plan, because if the manager is given like a 1-year, 2-year, 3-year plan, because Zidane is lucky, because if he had a season where he didn't win anything, he would have probably been sacked. So that's how crazy Perez is. And for Abramovich, if he doesn't like how you're operating, you step to him and he doesn't feel that his toy is operating at the level that he feels it should operate at, he's going to cut you. But so the problem goes back to Abramovich, which is that if you're having an extremely rich man who is just this raw guy, who is just really just to put all this money into this squad and this team, without any real sense of like, okay, this is how I've got all this money, but this is how I'm going to manage this money. We're going to get these players right now to try and get success now, but we're actually going to invest into the youth system as well. We're going to develop youth prospects, and we're going to try and combine youth prospects within players in our team. So we have situations where we can sell a guy for 70 or 80 million who we've created, but we still have all these guys coming in on our conveyor belt, as well as we are receiving that money for that young prospect that we sold to now keep on regenerating and recreating our team. That's your 5-year, 6-year, 7-year plan of how you run a club. If you're coming in and you're like, all right, 60 million for this guy, 300 million for this guy, because what has happened to Abramovich, I believe, is that you've overspent so much in those early years. And right now, it's a case of like, man, you have to cut back because you've not really planned. Because again, for Abramovich, you're just like, he cares about Chelsea. He does care about Chelsea, but not in the same sense as like an Ole Hoeneß or a Rummenigge for Bayern Munich. Because for those guys, they care about Bayern Munich, but they care about the club in a proper way, where they're thinking about the future. You know, they're thinking about, okay, yes, we now have the success now, but we're always thinking about, okay, how are we going to get success? Because we want to be successful in 3, 4, 5, 6 years' time. We want to have sustained success. If you keep on sacking managers, and the managers you bring in are completely different from this manager, so there isn't a constant thread or an ethos you're following by, you can't have sustained success. Simple as that. You can't have sustained success. And I believe if I'm a chairman or I'm an owner of a club, if let's say I own the club, My aim for this club is to have success over a period of time. I want to copy what Ferguson did with Man United. I don't want to just have success for 2 or 3 years, or just win the league once, or have a win the treble once. Look at what happened to Inter Milan. Okay, wow, you won that treble in 2010, then you had all of these barren years. They're slowly coming back, but they had a lot of barren years because they were not able to really continue the good work that happened in 2010. So, you're looking at Chelsea moving forward, because I don't see a scenario where Conte stays beyond this season. It doesn't make sense. You could just see that he is struggling, and I say to myself that who comes in? Because you can have a scenario that Ancelotti comes in and they play really well for a few games, and they even win the League One season. But I can promise you that next season after, what's going to happen? So unless it goes back to Abramovich, and it's like the double-edged sword. It's like the good and the bad, the sweet and the sour. The reason that Chelsea are successful in the first place is because of his money. That's the fact. Without Abramovich's money, Chelsea don't win the Champions League, they don't win the league, they don't win the FA Cup, they don't have all of this. They don't have Didier Drogba in the team, Lampard, and so forth. But at the same time, as much as he's the reason why they're so successful, he's also the reason why they will not be able to dominate in the way that Ferguson's Man United dominated. In a way that Guardiola's Man City could potentially dominate if Guardiola does stay for 3, 4, 5 years. So that's what it is, guys. Is that club football is poisoned, and these rich men who are coming in with a very short-term view of how to run a club is what's going to kill the club, because what you now see are just flashes in the pan, burst of energy, and that's just not, for me, that is not what equates to a great proper club. A great proper club is a club that is looking at the future, looking at the whole pie and saying that 5, 6, 7 years we have success now, but we're already thinking about success 6 and 7 years down the line.